Imagine a severed head hanging in a tree. That shouldn't be possible. Trees don't grow skulls, but this one did. And somewhere deep in the jungles of Guatemala, 2000 years ago, Maya parents were telling their kids a very specific warning before bed. Don't pick the fruit from that tree, because that fruit is about to get a teenage girl pregnant. And the twins she gives birth to, they are going to walk straight into the underworld, into the literal throne room of death, get tortured, murdered, decapitated, and walk back out laughing. This is the story of the Maya hero twins versus Xibalba. And the wild part, this isn't some forgotten myth nobody believes anymore. This story is so important that according to some readings, the entire Maya calendar, the same one everyone panicked about in 2012, was partly built around it. So let's go to the underworld. Walk with me as I take you on another journey through the eyes of history. Long before our heroes were even born, there were two other brothers, Hunahpu and Xbalanque. Think of them as the original twins, just older, talented, and a little reckless. Their thing was a sport called the Mesoamerican ball game. Picture soccer, but the ball is solid rubber. It's heavy enough to break bones, and the stakes are sometimes literally life and death. These two brothers were obsessed with it. They played constantly, right above ground. The problem is what was underneath that ground. Beneath the ball court sat Xibalba, the underworld, and Xibalba had landlords, actual named lords of death, 1 death, 7 deaths, and a horror show cabinet of supporting demons. Their entire purpose was inflicting disease and ruin on the world above. And every single day, these lords of death heard the disturbing sound of the ball game right above their throne room. The brothers were playing ball directly over Death's living room, and Death does not like noise. So the Lord sent messenger owls straight to the surface with an invitation. Come play ball with us down here. It sounds like an honor. It is not an honor. It was just a trap with great PR. The brothers go down. Of course they go down. You don't say no to death. But Xibalba is rigged from the entrance. They cross a river of blood. They pass a crossroads of 4 roads, red, white, yellow, and black. The black road talks to them, tricking them into walking straight into the throne room. Once inside, the lords pull their first joke. 2 wooden statues sit on the thrones, dressed exactly like the real lords. The brothers then greet the statues like royalty. The whole underworld laughs. Then comes the bench. They are offered a seat, except it's a stone slab, heated red hot. The brothers sit, not observing the trick. The room laughs again. Therefore, humiliated but not yet broken, they are sent to spend the night in the first of several testing houses, the House of Gloom, pitch black, freezing. They are handed 1 lit torch and 1 cigar each, with strict orders: keep them burning all night, or else. It's an impossible task by design. The torch burns out before dawn. The lords don't hesitate. The brothers are sacrificed. Hunahpu's body is buried, but his head is cut off and hung in a barren leafless tree as a trophy. But here is where Xibalba makes its first mistake. The instant that head touches the branches, the tree completely dead before this explodes into fruit. Round, pale, skull-shaped gourds, hundreds of them, hanging so thick you can no longer tell which one used to be a human head. The lords panic. They ban anyone from going near that tree, on pain of death, which obviously guarantees that someone will go near that tree. Enter Shkik, sometimes translated as Blood Moon. She's the daughter of one of the underworld lords. And like every curious teenager in every horror story ever told, she hears about the forbidden tree and decides she absolutely has to see it for herself. She finds it, she reaches for the fruit, but the skull that used to be Hunahpu speaks to her from the branches. It tells her, if you want this fruit, hold out your hand. She does. The skull spits into her open palm. Nothing visible happens, but the voice tells her she is now pregnant not through any normal means, but through that single act. And then the skull vanishes from the tree, never to be seen the same way again. Therefore, with Shkik pregnant and unmarried, the daughter of a death lord does the only thing that makes sense. She runs up through the underworld, out of Xibalba entirely, to the surface world, to find the grandmother of the man whose head impregnated her, an old woman named Shmokani. Shmokani, understandably, does not believe a word of this story, so she sets a test. She tells Shkik, go to the cornfield and bring back a full net of corn from a single stalk. 1 stalk, that's the rule, or don't bother coming back at all. 1 stalk cannot fill a net. Everyone knows this. But Shkik goes to that field, says a prayer, plucks a single ear of corn from a single stalk, and the net fills itself, overflowing, far beyond what any sane farmer could explain. Shmokani sees it and finally accepts her. The skull's child, or rather, children, will be born under this roof. Shkik gives birth to twins, Hunahpu and Xbalanque, the second generation, the hero twins. They grow up in a house already crowded with 2 older half-brothers, Hunbats, and Hunahpu, talented, refined, excellent at music and art, and absolutely insufferable to live with. The older brothers treat the twins like garbage, forcing them to do all the grunt work while taking credit for everything. But the twins possessed abilities no ordinary humans had. Using clever tricks, they transformed their arrogant brothers into monkeys. With their rivals gone, Hunahpu and Xbalanque inherit something far more important: their dead father's old ball game equipment, the same gear that started this entire chain of events a generation earlier. And the second they start playing, the floor creaks above Xibalba all over again. Immediately, another summons was sent. The rulers of Xibalba wanted revenge. What they really wanted was entertainment. They expected these boys to fail exactly as their father had failed. Therefore, the twins accepted the challenge, just as their father had done. But unlike their father, they came prepared. So when they enter and see the wooden decoy statues sitting on the thrones, the exact same trick that fooled their father, the twins didn't bow. They don't greet the statues at all. They walk straight past them and greet the real lords one by one, leaving the room in stunned silence. Then comes the burning bench, same trap. The twins look at it, recognize it instantly, and simply refuse to sit. 2 tricks down, and the boys were untouched. The lords of death who have never once failed to kill a guest were now stunned. Furious, they send the twins through a gauntlet of testing houses, one brutal night at a time, each designed to be unsurvivable. The dark house, pure blackness, meant to break the mind. They endure it. The razor house walls lined with blades that move on their own, hungry to slice anything that enters. The twins convince the blades to attack animals instead of them. The cold house, a freezing chamber meant to kill through hypothermia alone. They burn pine cones for warmth and survive till dawn. The jaguar house, a den packed with starving jaguars. The twins throw bones to keep the cats occupied all night and walk out at sunrise untouched. The firehouse, an inferno that should cook them alive. Somehow, they endure that too. Then they had one house left. The final house is the house of bats. Hundreds of bats screaming through the dark all night, and somewhere among them, one creature far worse than the rest, Kamazots, a death bat the size of a man, with a blade for a face. The twins do something smart. They hide inside their own blowguns, sealed shut, safe from the swarm. All night, they listen to wings shrieking past them in total darkness. But they don't move, they don't open the tube. But just before dawn, Hunahpu makes one mistake. He thinks the night is over. He thinks it's safe. He peeks out of the blowgun to check. Kamazots is waiting. In one motion, the bat god tears Hunahpu's head clean off his shoulders. Therefore, the lords of Xibalba finally have what they wanted, and they don't waste a second. They take that severed head straight to the ball court and hang it up as the new game ball, planning to use Hunahpu's own skull to humiliate his brother in front of everyone. Xbalanque refused to surrender. Using magic, trickery, and help from animals, he created a replacement head for his brother. The ball game resumed. The death gods watched eagerly, confident of victory. But during the match, the real severed head was recovered. The twins performed a remarkable deception. They switched the false head with the real one. Hunahpu was restored, alive again. The gods stared in disbelief. The boys they had killed were playing once more. Death itself had been tricked. The twins realized something important. The rulers of Xibalba could not be defeated by force. They ruled death itself. Therefore, the twins turned to the weapon they understood best: performance, illusion. They transformed themselves into wandering entertainers, traveling performers, magicians. Before the court of Xibalba, they performed incredible feats. The death gods watched in amazement. The tricks became more daring. A dog was sacrificed and restored. A person was killed and brought back to life. The audience grew fascinated. The rulers wanted more. The rulers wanted to experience the magic themselves. That desire became their downfall. One death volunteered first. The twins performed the ritual. The Lord was sacrificed. The crowd waited. Nothing happened. He remained dead. Panic spread, but it was already too late. The twins had already convinced the second lord to experience the magic, and 7 deaths followed. The rulers of Xibalba had willingly stepped into their own trap. The masters of death were now victims of death. Without their leaders, the power of Xibalba shattered. The underworld survived, but its rulers were broken. Their tyranny ended. The twins had achieved what no being before them had accomplished. They defeated the gods who believed themselves undefeatable. The twins avenged their father and uncle, and according to Maya tradition, they ascended into the heavens and became celestial bodies in the sky. Death didn't disappear, but for the first time in the story, death lost. Thank you guys for watching. Do well to like, comment, share, subscribe, and walk with me again through the eyes of history.